So today we are gonna explore more about writable streams. It is recommended if you've not watched the video titled "Important Concepts" or "Important Prerequisite Concepts for Streams." It is highly recommended that you do that now because we're gonna explore the methods and the properties of the writable streams, and we're actually gonna create a stream or a writable stream of our own. We're not gonna use the file stream this time, just so we can get an idea of how things are working and how we can make them into our own thing. All right, let's go. So these are the methods that we are gonna get exposed to today. And the first is write. We have been using write ever since we started this. We're basically writing to the writable stream, so this goes without saying. So basically, when we write, we're not really exactly buffering the data in the memory, but we have something called cork, and this forces all data to be buffered in the memory until it is flushed upon calling uncork or end. We're ending the stream, or we're just uncorking and then we're gonna continue. This has multiple use cases as we're gonna see later on, but you can think of a few when you need to buffer data for one reason or the other, and then you're gonna flush them to the system. Okay, so uncork flushes all the data that was buffered in the memory since the last cork call. And then we have end, we've used it before, and end has two optional properties or arguments, the same as write. I just realized I didn't write them in write. This obviously you can just call end, and you're just signaling that no more data will be written to the stream. It will be quote unquote illegal to write to that stream again. And obviously you can pass an optional chunk that can be written in the given encoding. That is the second parameter. And then you can have there is a method that is called set default encoding, and obviously we're gonna talk a little bit more about this, but we're gonna get into that in a second. So let's just go into the code, and this time we're gonna import everything as stream from stream. This is the official stream library supported within Node.js. So we're gonna say like, oh, let's writable stream, or just writable equals new writable stream, which we're gonna get from stream. Okay, so hold on 1 second. Yeah, all right. So we're gonna, yeah. All right, so stream.writable, and we're gonna define a write function, our own write function, which is really important for you to try later on. And that write function is going to be well, basically we're just gonna say, oh yeah, just console log whatever we passed here. So we can say chunk encoding, and so chunk, we're gonna specify that it is string for now. And so it's important to know that, and again, this was discussed in the video I've talked about. And so basically a chunk is usually a string, unless it is specified otherwise that it is an object. We're gonna get to that in the properties, and we're gonna get to that in the methods, but we're gonna get to that in a second. So the encoding, if we specify an encoding, that means that, well, this is definitely a string. So and the last thing is the next function, the next in our stream. And so basically what we're gonna go do here is just say like, oh, all right, chunk, not the string. We don't really have to do that because this is already a string, but just in case. And then we're gonna call next, so it can move on to the next chunk in the string. So I am just gonna come here, and we're gonna try the first thing, and we're gonna go writable to try hello. Okay, and let's actually start this. And it started and said hello, and that's it. Actually, let me just clear this on start. And what happened here is that our specialized or our own custom customly created write function just flushes the data into our terminal. It just displays it in the terminal. Obviously, it can flush it to a file like we saw in the previous videos, and it can do other things as well. But we're not here to talk about write. We've seen it multiple times before. We're here to talk about writable with cork. And again, just let's refresh our memory. Cork buffers the data we're gonna give from now on to the memory until it is flushed by uncork or by ending the stream. So we're gonna go here and be and just write hi. We're gonna write everyone. Yeah. All right, and we're gonna write test. Okay. If we rerun the program, the only thing is that's going to be displayed is hello. So you might be like, if you called cork without knowing what it's for, you're gonna be very confused because nothing is being displayed. But again, like if we do this and we look int, so basically all the messages that we wrote will appear, or if we do uncork, stop buffering in the memory. Okay, and so if we write now after this function and we go like because this is line 16, we're just gonna say 16, it will get displayed. But if we say here end, as you can see, this is an error because this is not a writable stream, and we can actually fix this by one of the properties that we're gonna explore later in the video. But this is really quickly how we can create our own custom writable stream. Well, technically we just customize the write function. It still has the same cork, it still has the same uncork functionality and all of that. And so now let's actually try to move on. Again, I know that just explaining these things like that does not really give you a very clear idea of what they're used for, or hopefully you have an idea of what they're used for so far, but we're gonna get to all of this in the next videos. We're just trying to lay the ground here. We're trying to make you understand the main important concepts. So anyway, we're not gonna explore set default encoding. You understand what this is for, but let's actually go to the properties. So basically if we do writable.write and we go like tests and then writable.end and then we console log writable.writable, and let's see what that actually displays. It displays false. Why? Because like I just said earlier, there is a way for us not to do illegal writing on our writing stream by knowing first, is it allowed to write in that writable stream or not? And like let's actually say like, oh, if writable, and I'm gonna get to you in a second. I know exactly what you're thinking of, and like writable.write message, whatever. I'm just gonna write anything, or else just console log illegal writing operation to an ended stream. Okay. And let's try this now, and it says illegal writing operation to an ended stream. And you might have been thinking, why don't we implement this here? You can one way or the other, but for now let's just focus on in here. And we don't really need this because whatever, just it didn't get written, that's it. But now if we move this here, this message will get displayed because we ended this stream after we wrote this message. But this is kind of an interesting way not to commit illegal writings to a closed stream. Anyway, let's move on to the next. Writable.ended is exactly the opposite of writable. Well, not exactly the opposite, but like it tells you if the writable has ended or not. Yeah, that's not how we write that. Writable ended. Yeah. Okay, writable ended. Okay, so we're gonna display twice, once before we call writable and one end and one after. So here it says false, it was not ended, and then it says it was ended. And this is another way to do this. Obviously there are different use cases that you can use this for. It's not exactly just for knowing if the writable ended. I mean, technically is, but like you can think of a few interesting ways to use this. Anyway, so you have writable corked, and this actually does not tell you if it had been corked or not. It tells you the number of times this stream needs to be uncorked, so you can flush the output. So if we do this, if we say writable.cork, and then we go console.log writable corked and go here, it will tell you one time. Let's try writing a few messages here, and it will still tell you that it was corked. And what if we call this one more time? Then we've coded this twice, and if we write, okay, so let's just call these maybe, okay, let me just remove all of these and say, and display just the number 1. And let's display, no, actually don't copy all of them. And let's call this 2. This is the second cork, and whatever. Let's just run this. Obviously, none of these will actually be available, so we're just gonna go here and be like writable.uncork, and we're gonna write the number of variable or writable corked in here. And as you can see, you expected this to be like, oh, I'm just gonna display all the things that were corked the first time. No, this just you corked this twice, so you need to uncork it twice for all the buffer data to appear on or to be flushed into the system, basically. So it says 2 cork times, 1 cork time, here's the data, and then 0 cork times. So anyway, this is something to keep in mind if you're trying to double or triple, or however you want to cork the data or buffer it in the memory, if you will. So this is pretty much going smoothly. So let's actually go to something called high watermark. So what exactly is high watermark? So high watermark is the number of bytes that we can buffer in the memory, or the number of objects that we can buffer to the memory if we set the object mode in this writable stream and made it to accept objects. So let's actually look into this. What's the this high watermark, and it says we can buffer up to 16,384 bytes, not objects, because these are bytes. Again, go back to the video where we talked about these important prerequisite concepts in order to understand this a little bit more, but I think that's pretty much it. Like, how many bytes we can buffer in the memory, how many objects we can buffer in the memory, if this is a writable, whether it's just for objects or for bytes. So anyway, I got a little bit distracted because the video I'm recording right now got to 4 gigabytes. So I'm pretty sure that's normal, but like I'm not really used to this. But anyway, so we can say writable length, and obviously it's written like this. And we can go writable.write, and we can write a, and we're gonna display this after we write all of this. So first it was 0, and then it said 0. Okay, so here's why. This is the length of the things that are queued to be flushed. So if we do this and we go writable.cork, and notice this, it said 3. There are 3 things corked in the memory waiting to be buffered, they're buffered and waiting to be flushed. So if we flush them and go writable.uncork, and we display this again, it will be 0. Okay, so pretty much useful data. These are the things that are in the buffer that have not been flushed, that have been not flushed into the system, or whatever, however we want to flush them. Here we're console logging them. Other cases we're gonna write them into a file, whatever it is. So writable need drain. Okay, so remember last time we talked about drain, and we said that, oh, draining means that there is some kind of a problem that is blocking us from writing more into the file. Maybe the heap memory is full, it's a little bit busy, or there is some other kind of problem. So writable need drain tells you if it needs if it needs to be drained, and you can act accordingly. Writable object mode just tells you whether this is this accepts objects or not. So if we go writable object mode, it here says false because this is not really and it does not accept writable, or it does not accept objects to be buffered or flushed or streamed. So yeah, so this is pretty much it. We're getting there. We're understanding a little bit more about streams. We're understanding more about things we talked about before, and we talked about certain concepts in the first class, and they might not have made sense that much, but as we proceed, as we go, as we see the properties and methods of the writable stream, the readable stream, how we can use the writable stream with the readable stream, what exactly is a duplex, and what exactly is the transform stream. We're gonna link all of this together, and hopefully you're gonna be able to build some important feature using streams, or you're gonna understand streams so you can use the built-in streams in Node.js more efficiently. Alright, so see you in the next one.